I'm Juan with Stupid Simple Tools, and today we're going to be using the SST Saw Calibrator, SST020, to square up this Delta table saw. I'm going to really quickly show you how to set up your tool, set it up inside the table saw, and then square up your saw blade. Let's do it. Step one is to disconnect the power. Now we're going to remove this beautiful and elegant tool from the box. Take all this shit, throw it out. Grab the tool, easy. And then you're gonna grab your dial indicator, which is secured in there, a bunch of cardboard. Take this dial indicator, slot it into the indicator holder. Then what you do is you take a 2mm hex key and tighten it up from the bottom, just like that. I just try to make sure that the indicator is pressed all the way into the indicator holder here and it's not twisted. It won't affect your readings, but it's the best practice. From there, you can slide the indicator up and down, and then when you want to lock it in place, you just twist that knob and it's solid. While you have this hex key, you're gonna wanna go ahead and get these ball set screws just barely showing, like right here, for both of them. So I'm gonna push this one out, so it's just peeking through, and now we're gonna calibrate it on the saw. Now, the balls are pushing out. You can actually put it in the miter slot. I got pretty lucky at this one. It fits in there perfectly, it slides, there's no slop. Otherwise, if it's too loose, it will have a bunch of slop, won't feel secure. If these ball set screws are extended too far out, you won't even be able to get it in the slot. You'll know it's perfect when it doesn't have any play, when you try to twist the unit, and it can easily be slid up and down your miter slots. Next step, we're marking one of the teeth like we're a dentist. Boom, I marked that with a Sharpie, and then we're going to use that one tooth as our measurement point. And then as we sweep the indicator up, we're gonna continue testing that same tooth up here and down here, so we get a consistent measurement. So now it's time to actually reference the indicator to the blade's point. So I got my red Sharpie mark there, and I'm gonna push the indicator into the blade about 1/100,000th of an inch, so like when that small dial hits the 1. And then I'm gonna lock this into position. And when you do that, you can see the needle moves a little bit. So at the same time, I'm going to adjust this small bezel so that the needle falls exactly on 0. You don't have to lock it, it's not gonna move. Now, the red mark is lined up with the indicator point. You can test it if you really want by like sliding this up and sliding it back onto your Sharpie mark. It returns back to 0. Now what we're gonna do to actually start the calibration process is I'm gonna move the blade and follow that red mark, it's right there, until it's right about there. And then I'm gonna move my indicator and try to line it up as much as possible without the blade teetering in place, and see the difference. Since the plunger is a little more depressed, it means the blade is cocked this way about 3 or 4/1000ths of an inch. It's not bad, but we can do better. Now we're actually gonna adjust the saw blade and make sure it's square on your machine, which is gonna involve you looking up online your service manual and seeing how they want you to adjust the actual motor carriage that holds the blade so you get it nice and square. On this machine, we're gonna open up the service hatch and get to wrenching. Fast forward 30 minutes, we have the table saw aligned. Best way to do this is to loosen up 1, 2, 3 of the bolts and keep that 4th one tightened, and you can use it as a pivot, and then have another one of your friends underneath the table, moving the saw carriage ever so slightly while you run your calibrator up and down until it reads 0, 0 throughout the length. Don't forget, you can also use your saw calibrator to align like fences and jigs and accessories. In some cases, you guys are gonna find that your blades aren't that far off, but your fences are really, really, really horrible. So even with this unit over here, we're seeing like almost 50,000ths of angle over like a 30-inch table. So if you rip an 8-foot board down this table saw using this fence, you're gonna have a cut that's off by like an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch by the end of it all. So that's why it's super important to make sure your jigs are all squared up in reference to the blade. Check this out, guys. You see that the reading decreases as we move it along the fence line here. So that means the fence is actually pointed a little bit to the right-hand side. Fix this, I'm going to loosen up the fence, adjust these 2 adjustment screws over here to get it all squared up. So since it's tilted a little bit that way, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten this screw to push the whole fence in this way and get that to read consistently. Sweet, guys. So we adjusted those fine adjustment screws and tweaked it until we were able to get a really consistent reading along the whole length of that fence. So now we're spot on now. We almost have no inaccuracy. And what we're also noticing is that no matter where you position this, it stays about accurate. Bring it back here, put it back there, slide it in, position it wherever, loosen this, place it at 0, and you see it stays pretty consistent the whole length.